the Wednesday morning here on the Stansbury Show. We're online for you, that at WRQK.com, and so is yesterday's podcast. That's posted there as well. Got a little sidetracked yesterday into the Kill Tony joke from the Trump Madison Square Garden rally. We got a little sidetracked by that yesterday. I apologize on that. We're going to have to get back into that subject matter a little bit today at 8 o'clock, though. The president yesterday, while trying to admonish what he had heard had happened at Madison Square Garden, he kind of stepped in it a little. I'm not quite sure it's the big, snafu October surprise people think it is. It's clearly a newsworthy thing that happened. The president calling, a huge block of voters garbage is noteworthy. It is. I'm not quite sure it's the big issue everybody thinks it is, though. I'm not saying it's right or good or this is what you should do. I'm saying, you think this sinks her in any significant fashion? I'm not sure it does. Once you're called a deplorable, once you're called a Nazi, you're being called garbage, right? That's kind of, those two words mean the same thing to me. Now, maybe I'm making it too much about me. Fair enough. But I think most Trump supporters probably thought to themselves before yesterday, I think that's what the president thinks about me. I don't even think this is even close to the first time we have even heard this type of, I don't like this word right now, but rhetoric, if you will. This isn't the first time we're not even close. Not even close. So, I saw so many people, it's like, look, it's not great. And I see a lot of people going, oh, look, he's trying to undermine Kamala because he doesn't like her. She railroad. Now, look, he doesn't like her. And he has kind of stepped in it a few times. I don't think yesterday he was trying to do anything. I think he thought he was doing the right thing. And what people have been saying for 4 years, which is like, dude, this guy doesn't really have it every minute of every game. Like, the moments he's sharp, he's right there. He's totally there. But there are too many moments where he's not. And I think it was just one of those moments where he wasn't. And it was an obvious sign yesterday. This is why people moved off him. Which makes, honestly, me laugh a little. Not at the president. Of course not. Well, I shouldn't say that. I laugh at him sometimes. But, no, that's not why I want to laugh at it. I'm laughing now at all the people that suggested it. It was crazy to suggest. It's like, well, dude, this guy's turning around shaking hands. People ain't there, dude. He's mentioning people who aren't alive anymore. It's like, bro, the corn pop story is probably where we all should have known. Right? Like, the first time corn pop came up and the media was like, yeah, checks out. That's what right there is where we should have been like, wait a minute. Can I see the scratch paper, please? I would like to see how we got there. So I don't think yesterday was any big, huge problem or any big revelation. I think most Trump supporters think that's what Harris, think that's what Biden thinks. You already think that's what they think about you, right? So I'm not sure anything new happened there, but we'll get into it a little bit more. That at 8 o'clock this morning. Also, 9 a.m., that McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese story, getting a little worse. We have yet another hospitalization. We'll take a look at that issue. That we'll do at 9 o'clock. We'll also rock the bank. As we are heading into the election, one of the words both parties have used, over the last year, a little longer. Economy. It's a big word, right? They mention it every single day about 9,000 times. So clearly it's an issue. We'll help you take a bite out of it just a smidge. 9 a.m. That first $1,000 rock the bank keyword. We'll get to that. Also, does legalizing marijuana increase or decrease use? A new study ran actually gives us some data here that I would have bet the farm the other way on. I can't believe what this is telling us here, but we do have a data. And by the way, this test that they ran, it's not even a survey. A study was run. Studies and surveys are different. A study was run. Not just under 90,000 participants. So not necessarily a small study either. Pretty decent size on the use of marijuana amongst teens pre-post legalization. We'll get to that a little bit. We'll spend 7 a.m. doing that. There was a huge issue in last night's World Series game. Mookie Betts is at the wall making a grab. Two Yankees fans try to rip the ball out of his glove. The one guy, it looks like he's trying to grab his watch off his wrist, which I don't, that's what people kept saying online. I didn't even see the watch. I'd be like, dude, why is the guy wearing a watch? But which I doubt he was. I think they were just making the joke. It's like, dude, this guy's on his wrist. Like, that's fan interference that I can't remember seeing fan interference like that. Steve Bartman with Chicago and the Cubs and blowing that series. Remember, like, they hated that. That guy, I think, had to move out of Chicago when that happened. There was that with that foul ball. Like, that guy, that one even just felt more like stupid fan, didn't know we shouldn't be in there in that moment. That felt more like, dude, unfortunate. What we saw last night felt more like, I want to go viral for this. I want to be the Yankee fan everybody's talking about for this. As a matter of fact, when they walk those two idiots out of there, more than a few, and then welcome to drunk sports fans, it happens, right? Or like, fun, man, there's some of that. And like, it is a rule in baseball where it's like, look, if the opposing team hits a home run or whatever, you throw the ball back. But dude, this is like, the guy's making a catch at the wall. In the World Series, man. Like, I don't, a lot of people in my industry are going to go overboard this morning about how social media brought us to this place. About the videos, the clips going viral, and, you know, the fact that the fan now talks back and forth with the athlete on socials, and they can, you know, I can get in your head, athlete, in your head. It's like, no, you're not. But like, right, like, they're just killing off their afternoon. But like, a lot of people in my industry are going to make that the story today out of this. And I'm not so sure that's what it is. I think my friend has been saying this, and it's not vaccine related, but a friend of mine is like, bro, I'm telling you, people are different after COVID. And he says, he's like, look, it's not the vaccine. He thinks it's just the being away from people, being locked in. Everybody got a little bit more insular. Everything started to come into your door a little bit more. What about me? Am I right? And I'm an essential worker and all this. And it became so, everything just became about you. And his theory is, since we have opened those doors, nobody knows how to act anywhere anymore. It's one of those things when I hear him say, we're normally drunk, we're just seeing more and more video now than ever. I think that's the most unfortunate thing. I think this is the world. And I think this has been the world. We're just seeing everything in slow motion and in 4K for the first time. The Stan Sperry Show.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life.
On Rock 106.9. 7:45, I'll get you hooked up with those Disturbed tickets. Memory serves, that show is March 31st, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. I believe Nothing More and Daughtry, part of that show. We'll have tickets for you every day this week, and 7:45, I'll give you your opportunity at those this morning. We opened the show talking about that fan interaction, and I feel like that's putting a really positive spin on it from the World Series, I believe, Game 4 last night. Game 5 tonight at in New York, I believe, right around, I think it's at 8 o'clock on that one. Yeah, I think so. But Yankees win last night 11-4, and there was a catch at the wall. I believe Mookie Betts was trying to make a play. And two Yankees fans, one of them's really trying to get the glove open, trying to rip the ball out of his, out of his glove, kind of interjecting themselves into the game. It's one of the worst things, one of the worst fan interjections I've seen in a while. Now, this can get into like recency bias territory where it's like you just saw the video last night. It's like, oh my God, right? Like, and then you forget. It's like, well, remember when they ran out of here? Remember when the climate activists poured paint over here? Remember this? I mean, we kind of, it's easy to forget a lot of these that have happened. But, those guys ended up getting kicked out of the game. Welcome to today's day and age. I don't think it's even just going to be today. It's going to be, I think, probably a lifetime suspension, if not maybe a year, 2 year, whatever it's going to be. I can't imagine World Series tickets, Dodgers, New York, the broadcaster's wet dream. I can't imagine that the broadcaster's wet dream leads to ticket prices like where you and I are like, hey, not bad, let's go, right? So, high dollar amounts. I don't get it. Like, that's where I don't, now, obviously, well, I want to say obviously the alcohol, but what I should say is obviously I don't know. Not everybody needs alcohol to be an idiot. I mean, I'm not drunk every morning. I find myself into idiot territory a lot, don't I? You know what I mean? Totally sober. I mean, so, like, it can happen. But that's one of the worst things. I mean, you know what it is? When you saw it, it's like, that's a Yankee fan. Like, that's the worst, like, and we all think that, right? But whatever the worst thing you think of a Yankee fan is, that's what they all are. And that's just kind of how it works. And when I saw it last night, I was like, yeah, Yankee fan. Now, you'll see this all over social media. Stay classy, Yanks. Stay classy, Yankee. Stay classy, New York. Guys, there is no group, of 70,000 people that's completely classy. Nowhere in the world is there a collection of 70,000 classy people. There's nothing. Not anything. It's really crazy to say, especially when you think about the fact that most people think it's like an honorable thing to be considered to be an average American. Essentially what? Not a classy elite. Now, that doesn't mean rip the baseball out of the glove of Mookie Betts. It does not mean that. I don't know why you spend all that money and ruin your night. If you're that, I mean, they're clearly fans. Versus like, all right, the lawyer's just sitting in the front row. He's got the phone out, right, not paying attention. Right, like that. Which is not, that's not a new problem, by the way. They were talking about that at what was then Jacobs, but like at Progressive Field when that opened, they were talking about how, look at the front row, it's all suits, slick back hair, the Gordon Geckos are in the front row, average fan never gonna see a baseball game ever, right, like, and it's like, you know, ticket prices have gone up, plenty of regular fans are still going to. But I saw him walk out, I know he walked out, that's it. I don't remember another thing after that. I mean, the amount of substances going through my body that night. I mean, I don't remember a damn thing. Like I said, I saw him walk out. That's the last thing I remember. I might as well got thrown out. What the hell's the difference? So I've done my version of it. But nobody else cares if I get thrown out of, you know what I mean? If I get blacked out drunk at a concert. It's like, well, you ruined your experience, not mine. Not mine. They're out there ruining the experience of other fans, a team, the outcome of games. I mean, it's bonkers crazy. Now, something else happened before that game. I didn't know about this until this morning. Thanks, guys. People sent me this. I'm from Twinsburg originally, and apparently so is one of the Yankees pitchers. I didn't know this. Scott Efros is apparently from Twinsburg, Ohio, and before the game, you know, they do that stand up to cancer thing, and he's there holding his sign, I stand up for, and he has Jim Donovan's name in his slate for the I stand up for cancer. I know everybody has opinions about what we make statements for, this and that, you know, before games. Oh, give it about the guy, right? And like all that stuff. I think eradicating cancer is probably a decent enough cause for us to maybe take them home for it. I'm all right with it. And like, you know, the holding that sign there for Jimmy Donovan, I gotta tell you, I mean, it's uncomfortable, man, because now I gotta at least like one Yankee. Scott Efros there, again, from my hometown, and standing up for Jimmy Donovan there, that's hard to hate. Absolutely. Love that. I'll tell you what's weird about reading that story. I am from Twinsburg. I haven't been there, and I can't tell you how long. I mean, I've driven through it recently, Route 8, but like I haven't been to Twinsburg for anything now in like probably 3 years. And there's something about that. When I saw it this morning, I was like, yeah, dude, look at my hometown. Look at this guy.
The Stansberry Show.
Every time I see him, I hear circus music.
On Rock 106.9.
iHeartRadio's Rock the Bank gives you $1,000.
9 a.m. I'll rock the bank, pass out that first $1,000 keyword. Before going any further, I should apologize. And we'll thank Mark here for updating me. I had not seen the update on this. We were talking about the fan interaction at the World Series game last night. A fan tried to rip a ball out of Mookie Betts' glove, for crying out loud. 2 fans, as a matter of fact. They were escorted out. We were talking about today's world, man. You're not going to get thrown out tonight, thrown out for, you know, the rest of the series, and they may take your tickets for life. You just never know. Dude, these days? And then Mark sent me this update from ESPN.com, and I apologize. I hadn't seen this here, but Austin Capobianco was the season ticket holder. Apparently, they got a hold of him after the game. He said he knew he would be in trouble, and that he and his friend would always joke about what would happen if like a ball comes right in their area. He's 38 and he was at a local bar. He said, look, you know, he's like, we wouldn't go out of our way to attack, but if it's in our area, we're going to get D'd up, is what he said. Someone defends, somebody knocks the ball, we talk about it, we're willing to do this. Mookie Betts, the player in question, was a little frustrated by it, obviously, but after the game said, quote, when it comes to the person in play, it doesn't matter. We lost, it's irrelevant. I'm fine, he's fine, everything's cool. We lost the game, and that's what I'm kind of focused on. We got to turn the page and get ready for tomorrow. Yankees end up winning 11-4 last night. So the update, though, is this. Apparently, according to Austin Capobianco, the season ticket holder in question, he was told they are allowed back at Game 5. That's tonight, I believe 8 o'clock in New York. I gotta be honest with you, shocked by that. Shocked by it. Now, what you could say is here, no harm, no foul. The game wasn't necessarily affected. Let's not necessarily overreact. Why I thought you were going to be dealing with suspension, game, series, if not longer, maybe a good portion of next year, maybe longer even. Because it's normally not about what happened. That's not normally why punishment happens in these situations. You're right. Any one infraction, it's like, dude, really? Like, what you're trying to do is stop the next idiot from being the idiot. And if you let these guys back in this game tonight, we know how this is going to go. Or maybe we don't. I mean, I've been wrong about a couple of things over the last couple of days. Maybe I could be wrong about this prediction. Fair enough. Okay? But the Yankees won last night 11-4. Big win. They avoid being swept in the World Series, so it's kind of like breath of fresh air there. You get a little relaxed. And since they won last night, these two idiots, when they walk into the park tonight, are going to be heroes. Yankees fans will have their beers in them. They'll get right. I mean, welcome to sports. A little drunk, maybe a little edible or so, right? If they felt like it cost them something, you'd be ostracized. Get out! Ask Steve Bartman. Some of you may remember Steve Bartman. He blew a Cubs World Series. Like, he literally blew it. The guy moved out of the city, I believe. Like, he put his glove in play, dude, and it screwed stuff up, and dude, and they hated that guy. Had the Cubs won that series, I think people would be like, nah, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. There is still a visceral reaction when you bring his name up to some Cubs fans. There is now, once they won that World Series, a lot of people said, they kind of forgave him after that. But not until that. But since the Yankees won dramatic fashion last night, I mean, fireworks show last night for crying out loud. I think what? That will tell the next fan who's not so bright, oh, they like it, right? And so now, that's why I'm surprised. It's not necessarily about where my morality center is or that's assault. Somebody said that to me and I was like, well, in today's world, it pretty much is, right? And I'm not yelling. I'm surprised that's not being talked about a little. I thought when they grabbed his wrist, that's where I was like, well, wait a minute, dude, that's the non-glove hand. You yank that wrist over that wall, snap it this way, and Mookie Betts can't go tomorrow? Like, oh my God, bro, now you got huge problems. And again, that's where I just expected a little bit more punishment to come into play. An athlete could be hurt here. You could affect what's happening. Bro, you think DraftKings wants to see Mookie Betts come off that field tomorrow? No, they don't. Like, they don't want that. Think MGM wants that? Caesars? No, they don't want that. Get them stars out on that field. Now, it didn't happen. I mean, we could what if and woulda and shoulda could. I mean, we could do that all day about any damn. I got to be honest with you here. I'm a little taken aback by this. And again, it's not where my morality center is. I'm just shocked by it. I just would have assumed, because we've seen plenty of fans be kicked out of games and not permitted back over attire. Not attire, meaning what they were wearing, clothing, and the like. I mean, we've seen some of that, not that that was right. But, like, that's not interfering with what's going on. This isn't like a Twins-Marlins series in the middle of July. It's not about, like, I think it's right, the Yankees are their classless, a good organization, why not? It's not about any of that. It's not about any of that. I just would have thought Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred would have said, look, we got to nip this in the bud here. Because you won last night, now all of a sudden these guys are allowed back in here. We're kind of sending the message out, as long as the Yanks win, we're kind of going to look the other way on everything that happens here. And I'm not sure that's smart. Now, we're trusting, at least according to the Jesse Rogers from ESPN, we're trusting Austin's reports of what the New York Yankees have told him. We'll look throughout the program today and see if we get yet another update on that statement from the Yankees on whether or not they will be there tonight. And we'll take a look. But this was updated, let me see, 9:21 last night. I was already in bed. But that was, let me see, October 29th, 9:21 p.m. Eastern Time, Jesse Rogers, ESPN. Says, Copa Bianco was told we were ejected from Game 4, told we would be allowed back for Game 5. Now, that could be, again, I said, we'll wait and see if we get more statements. But that could be a fan telling somebody,